Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4, where we are playing as Belgium. What's been going on? Well, it is February 1940, and generally things are looking fairly normal. I mean, some countries over here have changed colour, and there seems to be this bubble going on over Luxembourg for some reason. And if we just take a quick look at Germany here, we can see that they have got war goals against the Netherlands. Okay, a little dangerous. And then, oh dear, us. So yeah, things are about to kick off. They have in fact repaired the raid against Eben and Mail. We have got troops defending there. We've got a little bit of an AA in position, but we haven't done absolutely everything that I would like to do to defend that location. Okay, Germany's gone after the Netherlands. Luxembourg has capitulated, and they're starting to attack into Metz. And there it is. Germany changes their diplomatic status with us and have declared war. Off go the planes. They immediately launch an attack into the Ardennes, which, even though we have pretty significant soft attack and good defense, it looks like they may still push us. And Britain's immediately inviting us to the faction, which we will of course say yes to, because I want to see those French troops flooding into my country, please. Okay, the attack here is stalled. They're coming in from Maastricht. I think I may press the last stand button just to buy the French some time to get here. Yes, I'm going to call the Congo into the fight. I'm not going to take any lend-leases because I don't want to be responsible for protecting those convoys. Here come the French and the Dutch units. The Dutch holding so far, the French holding so far, and actually the Chasseurs Ardennais doing okay. And your last stand has just ended, so I think we may be about to lose this position. But that's okay, we can fall back and defend just these three. We are holding... the French have arrived! Thank you, France! So my last stand worked. It allowed my allies time to arrive. Minerva Imperia is almost done. There it is. Okay, so we could get Legacy of the Great War, which will give us 10% more organization, a division attack on core, division defense on core. I think we have come a long way since the horrors of the Great War, and while our wounds have not yet fully healed, we bear our scars with pride. We resisted the invader once, we can. No, we will resist them again. Germany is flat out attacking Maginot as well. So far, so good. Netherlands have capitulated, but we'll soon have the full force of the Germans coming at us. Would hit there pretty hard. Bulgaria has joined the Axis, Soviet-German trade agreement. Okay, we're defending all of that. Here come the Norwegians. Although the attack on Norway is underway, so I'm not sure the Norwegians should be coming to help me. Norway has capitulated. Johan Nygaardsvold has announced the Norwegian nation can no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming German forces. Oh, we've been pushed out of Arlon, so we've lost Ardennes entirely. Oh, yep, they've pushed Kent out too. How are you doing there, Mr. Pyre? Level 3 already, that's good. There's the Legacy of the Great War, so we get the bonuses fighting on our own core territory. I think it's time for us to deal with the Adrian crisis and get rid of this final vestige of fascism support. What seemed like a simple appointment, Adrian Martens, to the Royal Academy of Medicine, has since spiraled into a full-blown political crisis. This is because it's come to light that Martens was a collaborator in the last war and has outspoken fascist views. This could very well lead to the collapse of the Spark government. You guys defend up to there, and let's plan to retake Amsterdam. After all, it's clearly Belgian turf. I mean Dutch turf. Sorry, I misspoke there. Probably commit you guys to the Italian front. Okay, let's go for here. Push through the desert. Pushing hard against Leuven. Wow. How's it looking? Oof. Here comes Italy. So now we may see a couple of the French forces withdrawn, and immediately they're pushing through Nice. Oh, geez. Full-on collapse of my front line, apparently. Reinforcements arriving in the nick of time. Oh, nope, they didn't. We retake it? Nope, we failed. And they're going after Brussels. But let's stick some more units in Brussels just to make sure they can't take it. We're going to lose that position, but I'm kind of okay with that. What started as a fairly normal appointment turned into another political crisis for our government. The Prime Minister needed to appoint a new member to the Royal Academy of Medicine, and he put forward Adrian Martens for consideration. This turned out to be a controversial choice due to Martens' Flemish nationalism and collaboration with the German occupiers during the Great War. This choice has been heavily opposed by veterans, liberals, French-speaking Belgians, and even the King has indicated displeasure. Paul-Henri Spaak has tried to defend his choice, but has come under increasing pressure. His opponents have called for a snap election to choose a new leader, although Spaak could potentially have the political capital to fight for this position. So this is one of the little minor choices that you can have, where you can basically stick with Spaak to try to form the Benelux Union and then eventually form the Council of Europe, or, which will cost a bunch of stability if we do that, and our stability ain't exactly hot right now, or we can bring in PLO, the determined Prime Minister, gives us more surrender limit, gives us war support, and also as of the next patch, we'll also give democracy support. We're going to bring in PLO, and with that we could get the tripartite government, which will remove the language barriers, give more stability, and also more war support. So that may not be a bad idea. Let's do this one. Like the government of national unity that came before, Prime Minister Pirlo has managed to unite several democratic parties together in a show of Belgian solidarity. With this politically united front, he has finally got the power to push through more radical legislation. Let's do it. Italy is almost... Nah, they've broken through. No, don't run away! What are you doing, Italy? Slowly but surely, they're pushing our lines back. We're going to lose that airbase soon, I think. 1.2 million losses for the Germans. Meanwhile, somehow we're holding strong here. They're attacking Brussels. The siege of Brussels has begun. They're not really putting that much effort into it, though. And Hungary has been called in as well. So the Axis forces are getting larger. Kingdom of Hungary has joined the Germans. Oh, wow. In Africa. Italy's kicking ass. Here come the Italians. Alright, tripartite government is done, so we've gotten rid of the language barriers. Stability has dramatically improved. So I think it's time for the 40-hour work week. Let's get some more stability and some production efficiency. Another result of the National Labour Conference has been the radical introduction of the 40-hour work week. While initially skeptical, we have seen an increase in productivity and worker happiness. I think it's time for me to take Logan. That was a lot easier than I expected. Maybe I should try to get the Netherlands back. And there we go. We've got our... except for the Ardennes original borders back again, which is lovely. All right, you guys are in a position to take out Ethiopia. Please do so. 40-hour work week. Lovely. So now we can get the corporate social responsibility for even more production growth, democracy, and stability. Despite the significant industrialization and urbanization of Belgium, surprisingly, the trade unions have never held as much power as can be expected. This is because there is a cultural tradition for corporations to have social responsibility to their workers, though it doesn't hurt to remind them of this from time to time. Wartime exception, election. Let's do this. And then what we could do is press censorship to get rid of them all again. Success. Meanwhile, the Germans are now at 2 million losses. Yugoslavia is faltering. And there we go. Ethiopia has been cleaned up. There goes Yugoslavia. Trotsky survives assassination attempt. The old Bolshevik Lev Trotsky was attacked today in his home, where an armed group carried out a raid on his villa. King Carol II abdicates. Italy declares war on Greece. France has capitulated. Leon Blum has announced the French nation can no longer withstand the pressure from occupying German forces. All of Paris, last pockets of French resistance in Paris were mopped up today, and the city is now firmly under Italian control. The last place to fall was Sedan. That is definitely not historical. All right, I'm going to cancel your current orders. We're going to set you up for success. We need to mobilize the nation now. Fortifications not the only thing we should prepare, but the population itself can be our greatest asset. During the last war, they strove valiantly against the invaders. Let us harness the same passion and rally our people to the defense. All right, let's assist where possible. Let's get the Italians out of Africa. Defensive reorganization. More fort effectiveness. No, let's get Valbonnois Industries. We should establish the Valbonnois Institute, at the University of Liège, establishing several new scientific departments on the ruins of the old Valbonnois Abbey. How is Congo's autonomy balanced? Okay, here is Valbonnois. So next up, I'm going to do Belgian Air Force. Belgium was an early adopter of air power, developing a force during the last war, which gave very good account of themselves. Unfortunately, budgetary constraints have held innovation back since. As tensions rise, we must ensure our air deterrent remains strong. Alright, Germany's gotta be out of manpower. These units are not this weak for any reason beyond... Yeah, they are. Fascist influence foreign policy. I don't lose the stability, so we'll take that. But I'm gonna need to do something about the fascism support. Let's do another anti-fascist raid. This will also build up communism a little bit, but I'm okay with that. And we've got the Belgian Air Force. We are definitely going to be developing our homegrown Air Force, so let's get this one. We do not have much experience developing our own aircraft, the airplane industry being woefully underdeveloped since the last war. There are a number of very innovative young designers and startup companies that we should subsidize and help develop. We could actually try to develop facilities. Actually, I kind of like that idea. It was suggested that maybe we go for nuclear. All right, let's do it. We're going nuclear Belgium. And then this is also going to mean that we are going to want to go for Center of Nuclear Chemistry. Establish STK, which we're actually really close to getting. Just need railway expansion, engine, economy, STK. And then most importantly, a Shinkalabwe mine. And we're going to need to save political power for scientists. 49% participation. We're going to get some good stuff out of this peace deal. We have been carrying this war. We finished our Belgian air industry, so now we can get these. We go for engine of the economy, railway expansion, engine of the economy, then establish STK. Because this one comes with a facility construction speed buff. Let's do that. The arteries which feed Belgian commerce and industry are its railways. As our economy recovers and rebounds, we must ensure that the infrastructure we have keeps pace. And the US has joined the Allies. Welcome! Welcome! Okay, they are pushing in there. I'm going to send these guys to defend Antwerpen. just to make sure it doesn't fall. It didn't fall. Mission accomplished. All right, 160 political power. What do we use this for? More fascist raids, I think. Railway expansion, done. Engine the economy, then STK. Trains hold a special place in the Belgian heart. They fire up new innovations, keep production on track, and are the fuel for further growth. Above all, they are the engine of the economy. These guys are still under training. Facility with unassigned scientists. We're going to bring in Georges Lemaitre to our new research facility. And let's see what's available. You know what I need to do? I need to research actual atomic stuff. So we're going to be generating the breakthrough points, which is always useful. But I actually need to get the 1940 atomic tech. So we'll do that once we have concentrated industry done. Okay, it looks like the Germans have woken up. So I think then that heralds time for you. Be assigned your positions. 1.4 million kills for 100,000 losses. Right, Antwerp is where we're putting one of the nuclear factories, nuclear positions. Let's stick some fresh troops in Antwerpen just to make sure we can hold it. There's the engine of the economy. It is time for us to establish the STK. We aim to establish the Studiezentrum voor de toepassing van de kernenergie. Research Center for the Application of Nuclear Energy, or the STK, is a dedicated body to investigate the scientific possibilities behind atomic energy. Little story. This icon doesn't exactly represent this, because it used to have a different name. Any guesses what that name might have been? So the description was something like, we have some of the greatest academic minds in the world with the engineering and mechanical capabilities to back it up. We can create some truly wondrous things. And then if you actually finished the focus, the description changed, and it said something like, oh, you wanted Wunderwaffen, not Wunderwaffles. We'll be right back. Atomic research. That's what we need. It's going to take us just over a year to get 9 of the 24 divisions are currently defending Antwerpen. Yep, it's the close air support that's making the difference. The fact that Germany had so little close air support early really rendered them unable to attack me when I was vulnerable. I think I made the right decision cycling those troops out of Antwerpen so that they could rest up and get some of that organization back. German operative captured. Else Hedwig has been caught attempting to infiltrate our administration. That's true, actually. I've not done anything about establishing an intelligence agency. 2 new icons. I absolutely love this. This is probably one of my favorite logos I think I've ever seen. Belgium has 2 security services, one which is civic, one which is military. I think that this is the civic one and this is the military one. And from what I've heard, they're both really good because they are charged basically with defending the European Union offices. Right, now that there's more troops coming in, I'm going to shorten your line and increase the yellows because Liège doesn't seem to be getting attacked. But down here does. Don't want to lose the airbase. Those are valuable. How many casualties have I inflicted on the Axis? 1.4 million. Wow, British Raj, 600,000. Oh, it's because of all the Raj troops that are fighting in Belgium. See, this is where you go to earn that glory. Mexico has joined. GG Axis. Mexico is on our side now. No! Actually pushed me. Well, that's not good. There's the FNFAL. Prepare the Chasseurs to do what they are meant to do. Take that back. They're definitely making me work a bit more to hold our borders. Relocate on the start is done. So now we can start getting some of the passive defense up and running. And we may also want to switch out one of our people, probably Henri de Mon. Maybe for Devise, but probably for Welfare Doer. His abilities are just too good. Alright, big old offensive. Let's see what we can do here. All of Manila, capital of the Philippines, has fallen to the Japanese after the withdrawal of its American and Filipino defenders. Significant development. No, this is not going to work. Time to start making planes. Go ahead and start producing the R-36s, and we're going to make you a priority. We're going to drop production of basically everything else. Just double down on the plane production. This will mean that I need to tweak what I'm importing, but that's fine. Okay, so we have the STK. Symbiotic industrialization would be useful, but I think what I probably want more is going to be Shinkalabwe and then Uranium Development Trust. Shinkalabwe mine is one of the very few known sources of high-grade uranium in the world. Unfortunately, the lower levels of the mines were heavily flooded, leading to its closure. It will take significant investment and efforts to reopen it and resume production. Speaking of which, actually the person we probably want is Sengia, because he boosts nuclear things. Let's wait until we have a couple more of them. They're going to be up against 4,500 enemy fighters, so it's going to be a challenge to retake our skies, that's for sure. We have an operative. Let's go for the infiltrator. You can just stay on defensive. Right now, that's totally fine. Let's go passive. 1942, we're still here. There are the survivability studies. Let's get the support weapon for. Ooh, you guys back out. You guys go in. German operative captured. Paying off already. Marvelous. So Congo is producing as much rubber as it can. How is your autonomy looking? Still pretty good. I don't want them to become a dominion, because at that point I can't get their manpower anymore. Meanwhile, Japan. struggling. Oh, and we have survivability studies now. So let's go ahead and upgrade these. And we're going to add armor plating. I'll work out how to get the aluminium. We'll get it somehow. And the self-sealing fuel tanks. Because like I said, I just want these really rugged planes that can just take a lot of damage. Passive defense. Ooh, concise succession estate. That's not good. I mean, actually, once I get some more of this infrastructure done in Congo with my 2 civilian factories, they should be a lot more resistant to the autonomy. America's arrived. Britain's arrived. Whoa, Ghent fell. I was not expecting that. That was the port. It's kind of important. Quit India movement. Indian calls for independence have intensified lately, and we've got the Shinkalabo mine. So we can get the Uranium Development Trust, which mainly boosts uranium exports to my allies. I don't think I want to do that right now. I think that symbiotic industrialization is going to be useful. One fuels the other. As we develop the Belgian industry, so too does the need for resources rise. These we can import from the Congo and fuel even more rapid industrialization, therefore needing even more resources. The prosperity of both are closely connected. Indian units are helping me defend these. They seem to be holding out quite strongly so far. Got it back. Alright, it's time for the Belgians to take to the skies. And right now, while I'm trying to build up numbers, I only want you flying at night. Battle has begun. We wanted to re-establish the Belgian Navy, rebuild the fleet, port of Antwerp. Despite winning several vessels from Germany in the Versailles Treaty following the First World War, Belgium abolished its navy in 1927 due to budgetary constraints. With the looming threats abroad and our need to maintain strategic communications and trade, particularly with the Congo, we must ensure that we re-establish our fleet. And actually, if I'm doing that, I don't need those. Pierre Ryckmans requests increased immigration to Congo. Our governor in the Congo, Pierre Ryckmans, has stated that his wish for increased Belgian immigration to the region in an endeavour to bring in people with knowledge and funds. The rich and warm land of Katanga would be alluring to many with a sense of adventure or duty, and if we promote this, it is sure to drive many people to move. So we lose a little bit of recruitable population factor and consumer goods for a year. We lose autonomy, which is good, and they gain manpower, available resources, and construction speed. Absolutely, sounds like a good deal. This time they've really swamped Ghent with the units. They've recognized their mistakes from battles past. So unfortunately, that does mean I've lost my nuclear facility. Okay, rebuild the fleet and then port of Antwerp. The first step to restoring our naval power is to actually build a new navy. This will require significant investments in our dockyards and shipbuilding capabilities. Antwerp is a port, so yes. As long as we don't lose Antwerp, we're okay. Auto Pocket's holding. Actually, I think it may have expanded a little. Haha, Sicily! Good. Going for the soft underbelly now. We still need to defeat Vichy up here, so let's send you to that front. Okay, we have our second facility now, so we have at least one that's going to be working on useful things. And here we go, Port of Antwerp. Let's get that going. Antwerp is a city renowned for its mercantile past, and the port remains an important one to this day. Let us harness this reputation to facilitate favourable trade agreements. No! That was a legit loss. The King, as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has today offered the unconditional surrender of Belgium, without first waiting for ratification by the Belgian government. Technically, as Commander-in-Chief, he has the power to surrender the military, but not the country itself. The civilian parliament has already fled into exile, making their intention to continue the war using all the resources of the Belgian Empire clear. It is the King's will. We now have access to the King's surrenders. Should cancel. I'm going to cancel it, because that should have cancelled. Okay, so we have the King surrenders. We can choose to render the king unfit to reign or the prisoner king. He surrendered after we lost one city. Clearly unfit to reign. And this will also lead us to the government in exile. In light of the unconditional surrender offered by King Leopold III without parliamentary approval, the civilian government has declared him unfit to rule and vowed to continue the war from abroad. Now, we did lose all of our troops with the exception of the Congolese. Oh, that. You literally just became a dominion. How annoying. Alright, let's see if we can reverse that and take you off the front lines, because now you guys are actually kind of valuable. They don't have a port, so these guys are completely surrounded and will die. That's a bad loss for the Allies. This is worse than Dunkirk. There we go. King has been determined to be unfit to reign. Let's get the government in exile. The surviving Belgian political elite have now arrived in the host capital. Among them, a number of key ministers, including Hubert Pierlot, Paul-Henri Spaak, Camille Gut, and Albert van Fleschauer. Together, they formed the government of four and are about to see the war through to its victorious conclusion. And our focus is completed, so now we can get La Dame Blanche, which will give us even more intel. This was the organization set up by Walther Dürr, who we just hired. Or we can get Moi, de Bourg, which does give us 5,000 manpower. Requisitioning those funds is useful because it gives me the off-map factory. Yeah, and I think I do want to have the Congo giving me more stuff. There are a number of labor manipulation techniques that can be employed to get the most out of the workforce. For example, ensure that there are as few labor protections as possible to make the risk of being fired an ever-present one, and ensure they remain dependent on the company for sustenance. Yeah, the story around Mordred is actually a really interesting one. Basically, Germany did a surprise attack against Belgium, launched attacks on their forts, and then dispatched their ambassador to declare war. Paul-Henri Spaak kind of recognized this, so as soon as the ambassador turned up to his door, he went, "No, moi d'abord, me first." And then he basically, on official record, accused the Germans of their surprise attack, so that the Germans couldn't get their declaration of war in before the surprise attack was officially noted. Dutch East Indies have capitulated. This doesn't seem to be a great timeline for the Allies right now. March 1943. The non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union, a surprising development to begin with, has now, less surprisingly, fallen apart. Germany has attacked, breaking the pact, and returned once again to openly speaking of the Soviet Union as a menace that must be faced for their vision of the future to become a reality. Soviet leadership is less than pleased, but perhaps less shocked by the betrayal than disappointed they didn't seize this opportunity first. Hey, we got atomic research! Because they're a Dominion, I can't recruit Congo troops anymore. Meanwhile, you lot got your manpower back again, so let's start you training. Okay, so we got cheap labor, now it's time to requisition those funds. Although it might not necessarily be the most popular move, there are still untapped wealth in Congo for those who know how to extract it. Okay, so I think we want to go Prince Leopold mine down this path to get to gold and diamonds. The Kapushi region has been mining copper for centuries, and while we've been working here for quite some time, the potential value of copper is expected to rise in line with global tension. Let's be ready for that demand when it comes. So our economy is starting to recover, but I really need to get Congo autonomy down. Oh wow, Japan's really being beaten back now. They've overextended in the Indies. So kudos America and Australia and New Zealand for holding the Japanese at bay. Alright, let's do the Secretary General. This will give me civilian factories, then the Secret Army, then military service for all. Although we would do all we can to defend our nation, we had to be realistic when looking at our much larger neighbours, and take the tough decision to create legislation in case of our capitulation. As such, we formed the Secretaries General. These are the civil servants who have been legally allowed to collaborate with any occupier and ensure the local government is able to continue. It's kind of an ingenious thing that Belgium did. Legalising collaboration, because it meant that their civil service was trusted enough to remain in place, which actually meant that they were then able to support the resistance more effectively. They were eventually replaced by actual collaborators, but it lasted for a while. Now that is an invasion I can get behind. How's the Italian Navy looking? Beaten up. Yeah, now that Japan is getting so thoroughly thrashed over there, I think it's time to march and support my buddies over here and set up a perimeter like this. Okay, the railway was finished. Ah, the mine added more! I really need to do the Be Nice to Congo line. I feel like you could really do with a supply hub over here. This would be a time to start doing some damage, although this would be against the Italians, who have a lot more. They're on scraping the barrel. Meanwhile, Secretaries General done, so let's go for the Secret Army. Now that a country has been occupied, we need to begin the task of building the resistance to engage in acts of sabotage and disruption. The Secret Army is our conduit to this, founded by a number of officers from the defeated army. They have the organizational and logistical skills needed to set this in motion. All we need to do is give the order. I should make this a regular front line, because what I'd kind of like you to do is retake the mountains. Okay, Secret Army is done. Let's go grab military service for all in exile. That gives me another 10k. There are a great many Belgians living all over the world. We should agree that they are all to be pressed into immediate service for the purposes of liberating our homeland. Patriotic fervour is high, and we can expect a great influx of support. Now my units are starting to dig in. Right, forgot about this. Requisition funds from the Congolese government. You can just do this. It costs you autonomy, but it gives you political power, which you can then basically use to convert into these. Like, there's a couple of things I did to make the government in exile more interesting. I'm just annoyed about the fact that they became a dominion. Military service for all in exile. Done. So now we have that manpower buff. Now we can start working on the devaluation line. The Belgian government's enacted a policy of devaluation, and this has allowed the Governor General to lower duties on imports and raise them on exports. This should significantly improve the colonial budget. Oh, Spain joined. Fall of Gibraltar. For the first time since it was seized by the British more than 2 centuries ago, Gibraltar is back in Spanish hands. News coming in from the territorial report that most of the garrison has surrendered, although a few stubborn holdouts have retreated to tunnels running under the rock. It's built some air bases that will help air travel in the future. Meanwhile, Germany's lost almost 10 million. The Soviets have now overtaken me. How many losses have the Soviets suffered? Probably not a huge, oh no, 3.5. considering how badly hurt Germany was, I'm actually a little surprised it's that high. Germany is still pushing. Oh, Turkey's in the war on our side. 44. Yeah, that is historical. Belgian devaluation is done. Oh yeah, now we're starting to tick. Interfaith schools. There are already a number of Catholic missionary schools throughout the country. However, if we really want to cheaply improve the educational levels of the population, we need to encourage more organizations into our borders. Naval invasion. Good thing we had some troops in Marseille. Now I'm desperately trying to get my autonomy up so I can get Congo to become a minion once more. Oh, we took Nice. Nice. Alright, separate corporations from politics. From as far back as the Congo Free State, Congo has been at the disposal of major corporations. As a result, corporate interests have infested the political level. We must take action to detach these groups from the reins of power. Fall of Kiev. Wow, Germany is still pushing. Separate corporations from politics. Getting closer. Let's do the improved employment contracts and use this after. The demand for raw materials has reached such levels that we cannot manipulate the labour markets in the way we used to. Miners themselves have become a valuable commodity, and they know this. In order to secure their continued productivity, we need to offer them better employment prospects. First of our units will be arriving soon, TM. Germany, meanwhile, has hit their 10 million left. We have arrived, and we definitely want to be trying to prepare a plan. Get some of that planning prep up and running. Agent killed. I don't see that very often. Wall of Rome. Forces from France recently entered. Oh, wow. Rome, after the city's remaining Italian garrison melted away into the surrounding countryside. The French troops moved quickly to occupy all the significant government buildings, and a triumph was held along the Via del Corso by a long procession of marching soldiers and armoured vehicles. With the fall of Rome, the ability of Italy to continue the war is to put into question. Outside observers expect the Italian government, who fled the city just before its fall, will soon surrender negotiations. Alright, time to go. Let's do this. Meanwhile, yeah, colony. There you go. Now we can do humanitarian aid. There are many areas in Congo which lie in poverty and starvation. We have a number of contacts with humanitarian organizations, and so should grant them access to help alleviate the suffering. Antwerpen! Hey, Britain! Aha! Belgium is back, baby! Right, we're going to go all-out planes, because I think that's where I can help the most. There goes Kortrijk. Ghent is about to go. Almost. Okay, we've retaken Ghent. Let's give you a new objective rather than just Brussels. Let's go for our Ardennes back. We got our nuclear facility back as well. And we can actually start doing a breakthrough. Hang on, let's get the nuclear reactor. Begin! Benito Mussolini is deposed in an unprecedented move. Italy's Grand Council of Fascism will seize power and depose Benito Mussolini and put him under house arrest. This action has been motivated by an effort to save the country from military failures and incompetency of the Il Duce. We are almost back to our pre-war borders. There's Liège. And with that, we are back, baby. Now, do I need to press request reinstatement, or does it just happen? I think it just happens. Right, let's continue our offensive. Because the Ardennes is back to being in our possession, we have more than enough steel that I don't need to be doing this anymore. Iraq has capitulated. Winston Churchill has announced the cowardly Iraqi nation would no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming presence of British forces. Luxembourg has been restored. Half of the Netherlands has been. Humanitarian aid is done. Now we're going to do Congo's place in the world. The road thus far has been fraught with twists and turns. However, it is time for Congo to take her place in the world. How much impact will the past have on our future? Now is the time to decide. Okay, time to start pushing over the Rhine. And we almost certainly have enough aircraft now to deploy more. We're fighting through the Black Forest at the moment, which is kind of the dream of the Chasseurs Ardennais, with their lovely bonus to fighting in the forest, given by this. They have reduced strength as mountaineers, but increased strength as forest troops. Make sure we continue to be focused, pushing into Germany. The race for Berlin is on, and I want to win it, because here come the Soviets. And I think we have now fully got the Germans on the run. Oh, decision available. In order to supply our reactors with nuclear fuel, we need to decide on a process for separating the useful isotopes of uranium from the rest. There are a number of proposals for separation facilities, but the two frontrunners are gaseous and centrifugal. So we can choose gaseous. So gaseous just does that. Centrifugal gain secret resource procurement grants, consumer goods factories, but also increases the progress. I'm happy to spend civilian factories for progress. Meanwhile, the last of the military factories I was building is about to be finished. You've done something to increase. Oh, you got Congolese generals, which is a plus 250. Yeah, so probably a good thing that I continue to build factories in your territory then. Liberation of Warsaw. The devastated city of Warsaw has fallen to advancing Soviet armies after the last German defenders retreated from its burning suburbs. Much of the city lies in ruin after previous battles, and local resistance members hurriedly emerged from the rubble to greet their liberators. And I can get another focus. Cometro it is. The Force Publique has served a vital role in securing Belgian interests in the Congo. However, this is not a professional military body set to the rigorous standards of European armed forces. It is time for the real army to step in. Hey, we've met! The first Belgian and Soviet troops have now greeted each other. The Yalta Conference. Seeing a joint victory against the German Reich is inevitable. The United Kingdom and the Soviet Union are looking to secure future stability in Europe. Winston Churchill, Joseph Stalin, and Cuba PLO and leaders for the other countries participating in the war effort have met to agree on the fate of the German Reich. Days of negotiations have led to the drawing of a new map of Europe. This new European order is divided between the East and the West, where the wound about to be carved through the middle of the German Reich. It remains to be seen whether this will truly last to a lasting peace in Europe. Don't draw a line against the Soviets. They're not our enemies yet. We took a land facility. Do we even have a land scientist? We don't. Land would be you. Armored specialist. Stolen advancement in bouncing bomb from the German Reich. Gains 11% progress. Nice. Okay, so in Vorpommern we're definitely going to bring in Nicholas Florin as our air expert, and we're actually fairly close to getting the 2 points required for helicopters. Oh boy, Spain's not looking too healthy. Fall of Budapest. Reports from Budapest confirm that the Hungarian capital has been captured by advancing Soviet troops. Much of the city has been devastated during the siege leading up to its capture, and the local militias still fight in the skirmishes against the Soviets, though with little chance of success. Still anechoic tiles from the German Reich, so we have a naval facility now as well. Put in August Picard into there. And let's cancel your current objective and say take down to here, please. When trying to design a reactor, we need to choose what material to use for the moderator. This will dictate the design of the entire reactor. We can use heavy water or we can use graphite, both of which have their pros and cons. So graphite doesn't actually tell me what they do. We're going to go with graphite. Okay, we have established Cometro. You guys are going for the Soviets for help, because of course you are. Purchasing commission. This reduces your autonomy. With the Congo becoming increasingly reliant on modern equipment and hardware, it has become clear that we need to set up a department to handle the import of such goods. Hungary has capitulated. Now it's just Germany left. And all of my units are dedicated to pushing southwards now. Sweden requests trade of military expertise for ball bearings. Yeah, sure. And there it is. The victory. Well, I definitely want Moselland and Rhineland. I want their navy. I want the Italian navy. Why can I take Paris? Oh, these are ships, duh. Because apparently we are taking France apart. I got Rhineland. So, Belgium took 20 states. Bulgaria took 5, US took 1, British Italy took 4, Greece took 1, Soviet took 3, France took 18, Montenegro, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Vichy France, Italy, Croatia were annexed. British occupation zone, Soviet occupation zone, American occupation zone, Soviet Czechoslovakia, Polish Soviet Socialist Republic, Romanian People's Republic, Soviet Yugoslavia, Soviet Republic of Serbia, British Albania, Soviet Norway, British Protectorate of Denmark, Balkan Socialist Union, and the Democratic People's Republic of Slovenia are all puppeted. Spain was flipped democratic, so was Peru. Austria, Libya, Guinea, Micronesia, and Spain were liberated. I'd say Belgium did quite well out of this. Now, we could have given this as a Belgian occupation zone, but considering how badly Belgium was battered during that war, I think it's only right that we take some actual turf. We can't allow the Germans to industrialize again, so we have to take the Rhineland from them. But yeah, there's the victory. So Japan is still fighting, and doesn't look like it's going to be over anytime particularly soon. I think they've actually pushed against China again. Yeah, they definitely have. But now the Allies can focus on that fully. I don't think they're going to last for very long, and also I've been streaming longer than I intended. So I'm going to call this one here. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, be sure to hit that follow button to get notifications when I'm live again in the future. If you've really enjoyed this and you would like to support the channel, please do consider subscribing. If you are on Twitch or if you're on YouTube, you can do the super chat thingy-mablobby. Also, if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe, which is the same as following on Twitch.